Our scripture reading for today comes from the Gospel of Luke. It's chapter 24, verses 13 through 35. This is entitled The Walk to Emmaus. This takes place on that first Sunday, Easter Sunday evening. Today's reading is based on the message. Hear these words. That same day, two of them were walking to the village Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were deep in conversation, going over all these things that had happened. In the middle of their talk and questions, Jesus came up and walked along with them, but they were not able to recognize who it was. He asked, "What's this you're discussing so intently as you walk along?" They just stood there looking like they had lost their best friend. Then one of them, his name was Cleopas, said, "Are you the only one in Jerusalem who hasn't heard what's happened during the last few days?" He said, "What has happened?" They said, "The things that happened to Jesus of Nazareth. He was a man of God, a prophet, dynamic in work and word, blessed by both God and all the people. Then our high priests and leaders betrayed him, got him sentenced to death, and he was crucified. And we had hoped he was the one about to deliver Israel. And it is now the third day since it all happened. But now some of our women have confused us. Early this morning they were at the tomb and they could not find his body. They came back with the story that they had seen a vision of angels who said Jesus was alive. Some of our friends went off to the tomb to check and found it empty, just as the women said, but they did not see Jesus." Then he said to them, "So slow-hearted. Why can't you simply believe all that the prophets said? Don't you see that these things had to happen? That the Messiah had to suffer and only then enter into his glory?" Then he started at the beginning with the book of Moses and went through all the prophets, pointing out everything in the scriptures that referred to him. They came to the edge of the village where they were headed. He acted as if he were going on, but they pressed him, "Stay and have supper with us. It's nearly evening. The day is done." So he went in with them, and here is what happened. He sat down at the table with them. Taking the bread, he blessed it and broke it and gave it to them. At that moment, open wide-eyed, they recognized him. And then he disappeared. Back and forth they talked. "Didn't our hearts burn as he conversed with us on the road and opened up the scriptures for us?" They didn't waste any more time. They were up and on their way back to Jerusalem. They found the 11 and their friends gathered together. The two said, "It has really happened. The master has been raised up. Simon saw him." Then the two went over everything that had happened on the road and how they recognized him when he broke the bread. This ends the reading of the word of the Lord for today.